Hello, hello, everybody. Day 12 of Power to the P, February's month of mindful masturbation. I am Darshana Avila, somatic sex and intimacy coach and tantric body worker, and this is my daily report. All right, I feel really tired. I don't know if you can see tired on my face, even though last night was actually one of the best nights of sleep I've had in a while. So, status report. I've been burning the candle at both ends and super overextending myself, and I'm wondering why the heck I committed to this on top of everything else, to being publicly accountable for recording a video every day and posting it and dealing with crappy Wi-Fi when I'm not at home and all these other things. And I'm like, this is not creating the relaxation and the flow that I would like to have around my self-pleasure practice. So there is your real dose. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm adding more stress to my life. And this has been a very valuable lesson because I have this tendency in me to do things to extremes. So the pendulum swings over here and the pendulum swings over there. I'm trying to figure out what here looks like. And so yesterday, point about that. Yesterday, what it looked like was my inner child having a total temper tantrum and basically just like not being able to do anything adult. I was at a conference for the last 3 days for a business coaching program that I'm in, and I was just contrary and my energy was not flowing, and I was sad, and I realized that I had been denying my inner child a lot of play and spontaneity, and I really needed to take a look at that. So I actually left a couple hours early, and I just gave myself some unstructured time. And I ended up coming home after having just purchased this really cushy, lovely new sheepskin rug. And I took off all my clothes and I laid down on the sheepskin carpet and just rolled around, and then actually started like tantruming and screaming and whining and pounding and stomping and just letting that energy move through my body. And as I did, I started also then having kriyas, which are these ecstatic waves on a physiological level. It's the dura, the layer around the spine, expanding, relaxing, and it was so needed. Wow, super good. But it wasn't enough. That was a short dose. And so this morning, bringing it to the practice today, I woke up and I was excited. It's Sunday morning. I'm at home. I didn't have to be like, all right, to-do list on it, out the door at a certain time or anything like that today. So I'm like, okay, spacious day, great. Totally couldn't find my focus. And I sat down at my altar thinking I would do my meditation and my puja. And as soon as I took a few breaths and began to drop into my body, what I felt was really turned on. I'm like, great, I'm going to just start with my pleasure practice. And I decided to just watch that energy for a while. And I was letting my hand just like loosely play around my labia, my clitoris. I was sitting upright. I had my bathrobe on still, and I was all in like cozy mode and just seeing what was there. And what was there was I really wanted to just come. I didn't want to make it a practice. I didn't want to explore my asshole. I didn't want to go slow. I wanted what my body for many, many years had gotten accustomed to, which is to have a relatively quick and very focused peak clitoral orgasm. The very thing that I said I wasn't going to do during this practice is what I wanted. And so I sat with that for a few minutes and just was listening into this conversation that's going on in my head, like adult self, child self, back and forth, back and forth. And I decided that I was going to take out my vibrator and put on some porn and give myself the orgasm that I wanted. And that I was going to come here and I was going to tell you that without any shame. Because that is what happened. And there was a mindfulness component to it in that I really did consider what my body was asking for. And I considered the ways in which I so very often judge and deny what my body wants. And this happens around sexuality, but this happens in a million other ways. And yes, to some degree, we probably need to do that to get things done in the world. It can't just be like unicorns and rainbows and ice cream sundaes all day, every day. We're adults. We've got responsibilities. We have to make our life function inside of this system that we live in. So it goes. And yet the habitual overriding of these yearnings and these impulses, I feel, is so very much at the source of what ails us on many levels. And I really had to confront that I had been denying a certain quality of yearning in my own body. And it was because I have a very strong judgment about it, that it makes me less mindful, that I'm not being a good student or a good tantrika or a good role model to you. And the best thing that I could ever hope to model for anyone is my own humanity and vulnerability and authenticity, and let you know that it's never going to be perfect all the time. I'm never perfect all the time, or I am perfectly imperfect. And so I had a rocking freaking orgasm. It felt great. It was the release that I needed. My pussy is so happy. I did notice afterwards, I rested for a little while. Then I went back to my altar and I ended up doing my morning ritual, and I felt a bit tired. So like having that big buildup and then release of energy, it definitely shifts something and dissipates. And I noticed that, given that I'm a little, just recovering from a cold and overextended, like my energy wasn't super, super high to begin with. So I did have the question about like, oh, was that a smart thing to do to dissipate my energy in that way? And I just let it go. I did what I did. I did what felt good. I followed my pleasure. I followed my impulse. It's going to take me onto the dance floor very soon. And I'm going to move my body and let my inner child have her play and her free expression, which is so sorely needed after the last week of being insanely busy. And there's my report. That's the humanity that I'm bringing to you today, and the bliss and the perfect imperfections of it all. I hope that you have been learning something valuable about yourself and seeing how this practice could really be the microcosm of the macrocosm on so many ways. We get to see these reflections of our patterns, of our stuff that is calling to be worked on. And it's beyond just the physical sexual touch that we're bringing in. It also is a lot of what's happening in our emotional state, our spiritual state. None of these are separate from each other. And so I'm feeling a lot of gratitude to have this opportunity, to have this practice, to be in this process, and to be learning so much about myself. Hope it's awesome for you. And I will be back tomorrow with more. Happy Sunday to you. Be well.